नमस्कार, बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपका रेडियो मस्ती 24/7 लाइव पर रेनुका बिल्कुल आपके साथ। और ये है रेडियो मस्ती का ही मस्ती AVI। एज यू नो, इट्स ऑडियो विजुअल इंटरैक्टिव एंड डेफिनेटली दिस इज वन प्लेटफॉर्म वेयर यू कैन सी मी एंड आई कैन सी यू एंड वी कैन बोथ टॉक अबाउट समथिंग वेरी वेरी मीनिंगफुल। जैसा कि आप जानते हैं, आज के दिन में यहाँ पर हमारा ये खास शो होता है जिसे कहते हैं हम frankly speaking. And when we say frankly speaking, are you ready to talk very frankly today? आप जानते हैं पिछले 2 दिन से we are talking here about a specific topic and that is a very 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 important topic. और उस important topic को मैं इसलिए important कह रही हूँ because मुझे पता है that there are lots of us who are still very uncomfortable talking about this topic. Last week हमारे episode 1 में, if you remember, we had this we had a discussion around whether a son is essential to carry on family का नाम, है ना। हम लोग हमेशा बात करते हैं family का नाम आगे करने के लिए एक बेटे की जरूरत है या नहीं है, and that is exactly what we were talking about last time. Hi Lalita, welcome. And यहाँ पर आज के दिन में भी एक बहुत ही अहम मुद्दा, जी हाँ, एक बहुत ही important topic हम लोग उठाने वाले हैं, and that is about the LGBTQ. जी हाँ, the LGBTQ हमारी जो कम्युनिटी होती है, जो एक बहुत ही खास हिस्सा है हमारी सोसाइटी का, लेकिन आज भी सोसाइटी क्या उनकी तरफ जजमेंटल है या नहीं है। द क्वेश्चन इज, हाउ डू यू थिंक, व्हाट डू यू थिंक व्हेन यू थिंक ऑफ द LGBT कम्युनिटी? इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है, आपको अपने अंदर झांकना है, बट देयर आर सर्टेन रूल्स टू दिस शो एंड दिस शो मीन्स frankly speaking. Definitely we will be talking frankly to each other, definitely we will be expressing our views, but the only thing that we have to remember is, one, that we are not trying to change anybody's views here. We are only raising questions which are important, which have probably not been raised earlier, or the ones which we probably brush aside thinking ये जरूरी नहीं है हमारे लिए। लेकिन हम तो आपको ये कहेंगे कि हर चीज जरूरी है। आज के दिन में इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अस टू थिंक एंड थिंक ट्वाइस बिफोर वी से दैट दिस कैन नॉट हैपन टू अस। आफ्टर ऑल, कोविड-19 हमने कभी सोचा था हमारे साथ होगा? नहीं ना। तो एक LGBT जैसा एक क्वेश्चन अगर हम उसको ब्रश असाइड कर देंगे, ऐसी कोई गारंटी नहीं है कि जिंदगी में हम किसी ऐसे मोड़ पर आ जाएं जहां पर जाकर हमें शायद इसका जवाब देना ही पड़ेगा अपने आप से। सो थिंक अबाउट इट, वाइडन योर होराइजन। सो माय फर्स्ट request to you is that, one, this show is not about changing opinions. This show is only about raising questions. And the second very important thing is that this show is not about right or wrong. We are not judging anyone. We are only raising questions. Therefore, we respect each other and we agree to disagree very easily. है ना? इतना मुश्किल तो है नहीं। भाई नहीं मानता कोई हमारी बात तो नहीं माने। सानू की, as the Punjabis say, right? So all we got to say is कि raise your points. यहाँ पर हमारी जो गेस्ट हैं उनको बिल्कुल बहुत अच्छे से स्वागत कीजिए और साथ ही साथ में उनकी कहानी जरूर सुनिए। So if you guys are watching this, then give me a shout out, because what is important right now is that I know that you guys are with me. ललिता, आप तो आ ही चुकी हैं, बट यहाँ पर और कौन कौन है? Well, मुझे जरूर बताइएगा। On Radio Masti, guys, this is Frankly Speaking, और इस छोटे से ब्रेक के बाद में, yes, I would like to request my guest, that is Vanessa Jacqueline De Cruz, to join with me this evening on Radio Masti. This is Masti AVI. Hi Vanessa, hi. I want to.
Hi.
welcome. Welcome to Masti AVI. Welcome to Radio Masti 24/7. And thank you so much for accepting this invitation. How are you?
Thank you for letting me be on this marvelous show. You're very
It's my
beautiful today.
pleasure. Absolutely. Not more than you do, I have to admit. So, Vanessa, is it your day off today or were you working this morning?
I actually took leave to come on to this
Oh, you
interview
took leave.
today. Yes.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you again. You make me guilty. My God, I made you miss
No,
work.
you didn't have to feel guilty because firstly I really appreciate you for inviting me on this show, and for me it's a very great chance for me to voice out my opinions about how I feel as a transgender and how society is actually treating us at this very moment.
Right. So before we really get onto the show, once again, I would like to welcome, of course, my guest, that is Vanessa Jacqueline De Cruz, who has so beautifully shared her story with me. But along with that, I do want to say thank you to all my audience for sending us questions in advance. This show is mostly going to be in English because Jacqueline, as I understand, Vanessa does not quite speak Hindi very well. Am I right, Vanessa?
Actually, I can't speak Hindi at all, but most of my friends are, are not Indians. It's
Okay,
an
I
irony.
will be I will be happy
Yeah.
to speak Hindi for you and translate for everybody. So please bear with me when you talk in English. I may take a little break and translate for the benefit of our Hindi shows a little bit in Hindi. All right. So Vanessa, you were
That's
born
okay
and
fine with
brought
me.
up. Okay, perfect. You were born and brought up in Singapore. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Singapore born
And
bred.
true bred Singaporean. Okay, so tell me, Vanessa, how was your childhood? How I don't want to go straight into the negatives and a lot of issues with the society, but tell me a little bit. What do you remember about your childhood?
My childhood was actually quite fun. I had my days of fun. I had my days of sadness. But as I was growing up,
Right,
I felt that I was in the wrong body. How did I know that? Whenever my parents took me out, I used to run into the women's boutique and I used to admire all the dresses that were on show. And somehow I imagined that I was wearing these dresses and I just wanted to be female. Of course, I had to keep these feelings inside me and I couldn't reveal it to my parents, but somehow I had that very strong feeling. And very unfortunately, whenever I ran into the boutique, my parents would drag me out from the boutique and put me in the bookstore. Now that is where I actually learned how to read and cultivated my interest in writing. But of course, when they left the bookstore, I
right.
simply ran out again and went into the women's boutique.
So
So,
you were quite
so
naughty, yeah, quite naughty as a child. You knew what you
yes, I got
wanted.
to admit, I was very mischievous and naughty as a child. But it is just so attractive to be in a women's boutique. I just admired the dresses and the patterns that made the dresses so beautiful.
Right. So tell me something, Jacqueline. I keep calling you Jacqueline. I should call you Vanessa. So,
You can call me either way. It's okay, no problem.
okay. So you know what?
I'm open to it.
I just feel that in the beginning, it must be so confusing for you as a child. to feel, why do you keep running towards the women's dresses? I mean, in your own mind, you may not really know why, right? You were too young to realize that, isn't it?
It is not being young to realize it. I already realized it already. I knew who I was actually at age of 5. But like I mentioned, I couldn't reveal it. So every time to make my heart happy, whenever my parents went to work, I'll go and ransack my mother's closet. I would wear her clothes, I would try on her makeup. But
Right.
very unfortunately, I'm always found out because people always tell me that I cannot be a thief. I never know how to put things back in its place.
Yeah.
I got to admit that I'm quite a messy person. So, so my parents found out about it, and I was caned, and my mother locked up the cupboard so that I couldn't gain access to her clothes.
Oh.
So, so there was a period of time that I actually struggled being
Hmm.
me, but
Oh.
I actually gave in because I love my parents. A lot of things in my life I've given in to my parents because of my love for them.
So when
But
was that moment,
like
if I may ask, Vanessa? When was that moment when you first decided to reveal to your parents and tell them that I don't want to live this double kind of a life, right? Because, of course, initially, when you were with them, you were pretty much like their son, and they were not aware of your other side of life. Am I right in saying that?
yes, that is correct. Along the way during my teenage years, I tried to reveal to them about who I was,
Right.
but very unfortunately, until now, they still cannot take it. They have brought me to see a psychiatrist to try to convert me back. Unfortunately, I can tell you it's already unsuccessful. But of course, I just gave in to them. I just told them, okay, it's successful. I can be back to my normal self. But it was like really bluffing myself at that time. But I just to myself, maybe when I'm older, I can try again. So I always kept that struggle between me. But
So when
whenever I
you
had a chance to dress up, I would seize that opportunity.
Right. So even when you go to meet them now, you are dressed up as their son and you do not want to hurt
Yes,
them. Is that how it is?
yes, correct. Because to me, they brought me up. They brought me into this world, and they are already 80 plus. So I was thinking that I might as well just do whatever they want me to do for now. But when I am outside, then I can do something differently. I can be me.
Absolutely.
But very unfortunately, also, this issue has caused me great trouble because people have accused me of being fake for living two lives. Because they feel that if I was a true transgender, I would just not give in to my parents. I would just leave them alone. I would just shift out from their house and just be a transgender living full time.
Right.
But in my heart, I cannot do it. Yes, I want to do all this, but as long my parents alive, because I love them so much, I cannot bring myself to see they living alone and see that nobody is looking after them.
Right. Vanessa, if you would give me a few seconds here, let me introduce the topic once more and definitely our discussion so far, a little bit in Hindi as well for all our viewers here. हाय एवरीवन, यहाँ पर रेणुका हूँ मैं आपके साथ में, और यहाँ पर मेरे साथ हैं वनेसा जैकलिन डी क्रूज, प्राउड टू बी अ ट्रांसजेंडर. आई मस्ट से कि आज के दिन में हमारा टॉपिक जो है यहाँ पर वो सिर्फ इतना है कि LGBT जो हमारी सोसाइटी के एक बहुत ही अहम एक मेंबर है, एक कम्युनिटी है, उसकी तरफ हम किस तरह से देखते हैं. LGBTQ अगर आपको नहीं पता है देन लेट मी टेल यू, इट स्टैंड्स फॉर द लेस्बियन, गे, बाइसेक्सुअल, ट्रांसजेंडर एंड द क्वेश्चनिंग, जो कि अपनी आइडेंटिटी इस समय, सेक्सुअलिटीज अपनी इस समय अभी भी डिस्कवर कर रहे होते हैं. ये सभी के सभी बिल्कुल हमारे सामने, हमारे साथ में रहते हैं. और कई बार सोसाइटी में क्या होता है कि हम लोग सिर्फ 4 जेंडर्स जिनको हम रिकग्नाइज करते हैं बस वहीं तक रह जाते हैं. एंड दोज जेंडर्स आर ऑफ कोर्स मैस्कुलिन एंड फेमिनिन एंड कॉमन एंड द न्यूट्रल, राइट. बट हम लोग कभी सोचते नहीं है कि आगे भी बहुत सारे, इनफैक्ट आप हैरान हो गए ये बात सुन के कि 17 to 29 अदर सेक्सुअलिटीज इनको भी रिकग्नाइज किया गया है, आइडेंटिफाई किया गया है. लेकिन ऑफ कोर्स बहुत से देश इस समय ट्रांसजेंडर्स को या LGBT कम्युनिटी को आइडेंटिफाई नहीं करते हैं अपने साथ, उनको रिकग्नाइज नहीं करते हैं. तो आज की हमारी डिस्कशन सिर्फ इतनी कि क्या हमको जजमेंटल होना चाहिए, शुड वी जज एज अ सोसाइटी दिस ब्यूटिफुल कम्युनिटी, और शुड वी जस्ट एक्सेप्ट देम एज वन ऑफ अस, राइट. सो ये आपके व्यूज डेफिनेटली यहाँ पर वेलकम है. इतना मैं आपको बताऊंगी कि वनेसा सिंगापुरियन है, हमारे साथ में यहीं सिंगापुर में पली बड़ी, और पैदा जब हुई थी तो एक बेटे के रूप में पैदा हुई थी. आपने अभी भी कुछ फोटोज देखी होंगी अपने स्क्रीन पर जहां पर मैं आपको दिखा रही थी कि वो अपने पेरेंट्स के साथ में हैं, और आज तक उन्होंने अपने पेरेंट्स को नहीं बताया है कि वो बाहर जब होती हैं तो किस रूप में होती हैं. जब वो बचपन में अकेली होती थी तो वो जाकर अपने पेरेंट्स, अपनी मम्मी की वार्डरोब में जरूर घुस के उनके कपड़े ट्राई करती थी, और साथ ही साथ में कभी बाहर जाती थी शॉपिंग के लिए तो लड़कियों के कपड़ों की तरफ उनका बहुत ध्यान रहता था. 5 साल की उम्र में उन्होंने रियलाइज किया कि वो एक मेल बॉडी में she is actually a female. That was at the age of 5. और तब से एक कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, उनके पेरेंट्स आज भी नहीं मानते हैं कि वो नॉर्मल हैं. अभी भी वो चाहते हैं कि वो किसी डॉक्टर से मिलें और अपने आप को ठीक कराएं, शायद मानसिक संतुलन में कोई गड़बड़. इस तरह की जिंदगी जी रही हैं आज भी. तो आगे बढ़ते हैं. वनेसा, once more welcome to Radio Masti and welcome to Masti AVI. Vanessa, I want to ask you another question at this stage, and that is about as you grew up, right? Your parents, of course, have not yet, even till now, accepted your identity. But what about your friends and colleagues? How did they take your whole journey from where you were to where you are today?
Very fortunately, I managed to form a group of friends that will be able to accept me. And that only actually happened 2 years ago when I met Vanita, when she introduced me into the pageantry world. That was the time where I started to build up my confidence. Before that time, nobody accepted me. I had no friends at all. Actually, I was very lonely. And when I dressed up, I always went out alone. And my self-esteem was way low. I can consider myself very lucky to be able to find this group of friends. I would say they are my lucky element. And with that, I've grown from strength to strength. And right now, my confidence level is pretty high. But when it comes to office colleagues, it is the other way around. Because my office is not accepting me for who I am. So I don't have a choice. I cannot dress up in the office. My office colleagues also will not accept me for who I am. So there is a struggle in my office, and especially when I also do my work. It has affected my concentration. However, I'm trying to rectify this situation at this moment because I always think that I have parents to support. So when I think of this factor, I try my best to do whatever I can in my
But um,
working
in
journey
your
life.
right. In your story, Vanessa, that you shared with me, and a beautiful article that you have written about your journey, right? You did mention that there was a time when your colleagues and your friends were totally, they were very rude towards you, and you were verbally insulted, you were spitted at, you were even sexually violated and beaten up at one point, right? So, why do you think that your friends reacted the way they did? Are we saying that we did not, we as a society refuse to accept the LGBT community, and that is why? Or was there a different mindset? What do you think was going on?
You need to understand that the period when I suffered all this abuse, it was in the early 80s, towards the late 90s. So during that time, mindsets were different. The acceptance of the LGBT community was not well accepted at that time. However, moving forward to the 20th century, because the generation that is coming up, the acceptance of the LGBT is now much more acceptable. But it has come to a point that in Singapore, the LGBT community is actually left alone. So there's a mindset of you don't disturb me, I don't disturb you. We are able to live our lives,
That's
but
right.
the values of Singapore society is still a heterosexual family, and that has been emphasized by the government in the way we buy our houses. And also, one very unfortunate point is that the 377A law cannot be repealed yet because there's actually no government representation for us. If there will ever be, I can guarantee you that this law can be repealed. But by but by saying all this, I would say that LGBT community can live peacefully in Singapore because the mindset has now changed for us to be more acceptable in Singapore.
That is right. So, Vanessa, I'm just going to take you back a little bit down your journey. And I just want to ask you, is there any particular episode that you would like to share from your life when you felt very neglected, or in a way you felt that you were being judged by the society? And could you also share some kind of an example when you felt that you have been accepted by the society? I'm sure you've been living through both situations.
Okay, let me take you to the journey when I was not accepted at all. It was when
Right.
Coke bottles were thrown at me. Names will be names will be sorry sorry. I was called names when I walked on the streets. And one good example is when I was walking towards this couple. The girlfriend just took the boyfriend and pulled him away from me. Another example is when I ordered my food and I asked the guy whether there was space to sit. The guy said it was okay. But when I sat down, his girlfriend came to pull him away from his own seat. So they actually shifted to another table to eat.
Hmm. So they did not want to be sitting next to you.
Yes,
That is
correct. Now moving
right.
forward to the acceptance part, I can go anywhere and sit, and sometimes people will even smile at me. They won't even bother about how I look at. That is how much acceptance I have right now, and it only shows that the mindset of people living in Singapore has changed towards the LGBT community. Of course, the most important part is that I have now more friends accepting me who I am.
And
So
that is what
I
matters.
feel I feel my life is getting better and better each day.
Right. So at this point, I'll just take a little break and yet again go back to my beautiful Hindi language. Thanks, Vanessa, for
Okay.
bearing with that. So
Mm.
guys, यहाँ पर हम आज बात कर रहे हैं, हमारी खास जो गेस्ट हैं वनेसा जैकलिन डी क्रूज, ये खुद एक ट्रांसजेंडर हैं और डेफिनेटली बात कर रही हैं अबाउट द डिफरेंट occasions when she was not accepted, judged or otherwise accepted as well society में. तो किस तरह के इन्होंने अपनी जिंदगी में कुछ कुछ ऐसे पल देखे हैं when she felt totally miserable, बहुत abuses और इस तरह के नाम बुलाए गए इनको अलग अलग तरीके के जो कि सोसाइटी में बुलाए जाते हैं जब हम LGBT कम्युनिटी को देखते हैं, बहुत से लोग किस तरह के नाम बुलाते हैं, किस तरह से बिहेव करते हैं, ये सभी कुछ देखा गया है। लेकिन साथ ही साथ में उनको ऐसे भी दिन याद हैं जब वो कह रही हैं कि यहाँ पर बिल्कुल बहुत ही बढ़िया से सबने उनको ट्रीट किया। Well, at this point, I do want to also talk about a few of the statistics which might be interesting, which is out of the 174 countries जो एक सर्वे में analyze किए गए, 131 have actually got better in terms of acceptance when it comes to the LGBTQ community since 1981. 16 countries experienced a decline and 27 had no change. अगर देखा जाए उन countries को who have totally accepted the community, then we have Iceland, Netherlands, there is Norway, and there is Canada, and there is Spain, which is ranked amongst the top. And then, of course, there are countries like Ethiopia, Somalia, and Senegal, and Azerbaijan, Tajikistan, जहां पर बिल्कुल भी acceptance नहीं है. In fact, हम अगर एशिया की तरफ देखें तो एक country है which is Nepal. नेपाल हैज टोटली एक्सेप्टेड बिकॉज वहां पर एक ऐसी कम्युनिटी का एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन राइट विंग ने वहां पर एस्टैब्लिश करी थी एंड दिस वाज बिकॉज द पर्सन हु वाज वन ऑफ द लेजिस्लेटर्स इन नेपाल ही हिमसेल्फ was a part of the community. तो उन्होंने पक्का ये देखा that everybody accepted, and that was the beauty of Nepal when it came to. Again, well, Ruchika says that yes, it is a hard life for the community, especially in Asia. You are right, Ruchika. What we did figure out was that most of the countries who have accepted have been in Western Europe. Now, that could be because of the culture, it could be because of the religion. I'll show you some information later during the show, which might be interesting. कि किस तरीके से, depending on the various demographics and the characteristics of people, the acceptance level sort of डिफरेंस होता है उसके बीच में. ललिता सेज दैट कैसा फेस करते हैं ये, हमको तो घर पे कोई कुछ बोल दे हम लोगों को बुरा लग जाता है. इतनी आज़ादी तो होनी चाहिए सबको, जैसे जीना है जीने दो, हमें एक्सेप्ट करना चाहिए. इट्स वेरी पेनफुल. यू आर सो राइट, Lalita. It is a very painful situation when we start discriminating against a certain community, not because of what they have done, but because of just the way they are. I mean, we all have our characteristics and personalities, right, Vanessa? We are all different people. It is not that we
Yes,
are same.
definitely.
So why discriminate against the LGBT for being different also? I would just think that they are another level of different. That's it, right? But it's the same. They're like, everybody is the same. I mean, we are all born same yet different, isn't it? What do you think?
Well, if more people have your mindset, then it'll be such a lovable place to live in. But very unfortunately, not everyone have this mindset because the thought of what a male and female is very entrenched in society. Society is defined by what is male and female. So if you are different from being male and female, then people will start to get nervous because they do not know how to approach you. Now, to actually rectify this, we need to educate society. We need to step out and tell society who we are, that our blood is still red in color, will not
Absolutely.
bite, we can do whatever you can do, and people in society should just accept us without understanding. There are many people in society who have tried to create mathematical formulas to try to understand us. But
Yes,
I can tell you, there is no formula to understand us. It is just acceptance without understanding. And the very important thing I also believe is that society needs to communicate with us to understand us. Communication is very important.
that's true.
In that sense, I believe that the way the LGBT community portrays itself is very, very important because people will judge us by the way they see us. That is why I'm always dressed up nicely. I
So
don't
you
dress
do
up
believe,
strawberry
right?
because I want to show that we are the pride of the LGBT community. The LGBT is very proud to be who they are. And if we can give up positive vibes to society, then society can feel our confidence and our love at the same time.
I totally
I
agree
also
with you.
advocate
Thank
that
you
the LGBT,
for sharing that.
sorry, can I do something? Say one thing. I
Yeah,
advocate that the
please.
LGBT community should show empathy, kindness, and compassion towards society. If society can feel our love, then that is one battle that's actually won. They will feel rather safe to live with us. They need to feel safe because if they outcast us, then we will be afraid of them. But if they accept us, then there will be a total loving connection between us and the rest of the world.
Very well said. And I'm totally proud of what you're saying today, Vanessa. Number one, coming out of the closet and being who you are, accepting it yourself is a very big thing. And then being able to stand out there, look in the eyes of the people around you, and say, this is what I am. And I am proud of who I am. And I am really going to be the way I am. I don't care how you treat me. That's another level totally. Because really, one has to be. I know there was a time when I myself met you at a few events and you were not sure how to dress up. You were really not sure whether to come across as your male avatar or really come across as who you feel you are, right? And I personally was a little bit confused. In fact, I want to be honest, and I also want to be very frank with you today on this show, since you are being so upfront and candid. I was a little bit confused, and I used to question, just be who you are, right? Who you believe you are. Because otherwise, you are right. People do form opinions, and people start thinking that are you doing something to get attention? While in your heart of hearts, you are just doing something on one side to keep your parents happy and not stress them out at this age, because they are conservative. They are of a different generation. They are still not accepting things, and it's not easy for them, right? And on the other side, you are struggling within yourself for who you are. It's not an easy life for sure. So great. I think I should at this stage really have a round of applause just for you. I mean it. And I'm going to play it right now. Well done, Vanessa. Vanessa, just one thing. Yes, please. You want to say something? Go ahead.
No, 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 no. You can go ask myself.
Okay.
You can ask the question.
Right. So I was just wondering that from here on, now you are in the business of organizing pageants. You are, of course, inspiring a lot of people out there with the way things have evolved for you, right? So do you think it's easier now to be yourself in front of the world, or is it
Yes,
getting more challenging?
it is definitely easier for me to be in front of the world because I'm mixing with people who are accepting me. Those people who do not want to accept me, so be it. Because if they are going to bring negativity towards me, then I do not want that energy at all. I just want positive energy. It is very important how I accept energy in my life. So as I continue my journey as being who I am, I have actually decided that I need to accept positive energy because negative energy will definitely come. But if I got more positive energy, I will know how to deflect the negative energy. So right now, I'm working with people who have accepted me. I'm organizing activities with people who are very happy to work with me as I think you should know I'm in the Aesthetics International Council for Progressive Women.
Wow.
It's a NGO that helps to empower women and they have
Right.
totally accepted me. I've also received an award called She Inspires Me, where that community also assessed me as a woman. Recently, I actually this happened yesterday. I became the global ambassador for All Women's Rock,
Oh,
and the owner of All Women's Rock also gave me a red blazer for excellence. Now, this red blazer of excellence is only for women who have been very successful in their lives in helping society to grow. And I was very surprised to receive this award.
very good. I
So I
think
would say,
that calls for
so
a big
I would say,
congratulations.
I would see a very positive journey for my life, but at the same time, my road is still bumpy. But due to my experiences, I now know how to maneuver myself around the road, know how to avoid all the troubles.
Right.
This comes with experience.
Totally.
And,
So,
and can I add something? And I myself is also helping the LGBT community and also the transgender community. I've created 8 affirmation videos to help the LGBT community and 53 videos for transgender empowerment. So I upload these videos every Friday. So I hope that when you have the time, please come and view my videos. And on alternate days, I will post my poems.
wow.
My poems are dedicated to people who have suffered from depression, domestic violence, dedicated to the LGBT community and also to the transgender community. And it also helps people to empower themselves.
Lovely. I think that's a very busy life, Vanessa. Apart from standing up for yourself, you are now collaborating on so many social causes and helping women specifically to fight for their rights and to stand up on their feet, fighting against domestic violence and all the other challenges that exist in the society. That's really amazing.
You see, I believe that the LGBT community must come together to fight for their rights. I want to be a leader in this. You know, there's a Chinese saying that you take a single chopstick to be able to break it. But you
Yes,
take a bunch of chopsticks, you will not be able to break it.
true.
So I want to bring the community together to create strength in them. And I want the community to also bring in others like themselves. So as I empower the LGBT community, I want whatever I've empowered to be spread to other people like us. So in a way, I want to leave a legacy also behind, so that
And
people can remember, so that people can remember me as well.
absolutely, because just think about it, your journey from how you were born to how you accepted it within yourself, tried to make your parents accept, uh, moved on, your colleagues, friends accepted you, you went through ups and downs and several obstacles, and then you decided, forget everyone, I'm going to live the way it is, and I'm not only going to live my life, I'm also going to help others who are not living their life lead on and think positive in the society, and apart from that, leave a legacy. I think that's a beautiful story, and that's a beautiful, beautiful thought, Vanessa, that you are really working hard towards. So all the best to you. I would say congratulations for all the accolades, and all the best to you for your journey ahead. And I don't see anybody today who has joined my show in the past 40 minutes saying anything but only positive stuff for you, so which is also saying a lot about our society, the way we are evolving, right?
Yes,
Is
definitely.
there is there anything, before I let you go? Is there anything that you would like to say for a lot of the community members who are still pretty much behind the closet? They are still hiding in the closet, and they are not out with their real identities for different reasons. Is there anything you would like to say to them?
I would say to them to take their time to sit
Right.
down and reflect of who they want to be, and to make sure that they want to continue with the journey of being who they want to be. Because it will be a very difficult journey, that's for sure. And if you are not confident in yourself in going about this journey, then I can tell you it will be very difficult for you. You need to take your time and reflect on this. There- There's actually no hurry. I can tell you that I actually started this journey 2 years ago only. I'm 46 right now, and I got to admit my journey is very, very late. But it is okay. Time is not a factor. The very important thing is that you must know yourself when to start this journey. If you're not confident, just don't do it yet.
Absolutely. Fantastic
So,
thought.
so once you start the journey, when you gain momentum, keep on going. Keep on the momentum. You know, a, a train that is stagnant will not be able to deliver its passengers. But a train that is moving about 250 kilometers per hour, it will definitely deliver their its passengers to the respective destination. So it's the same thing. If you keep moving forward slowly, you will still reach your destination eventually. But of course, you need to build patience. You need to build a very positive mind. You need to have a peaceful heart. All this all can be done through meditation and also by watching my empowerment videos. Okay, I'm promoting my empowerment videos here at the moment. so
That's all right.
so just take your time and go through your journey and actually enjoy it. Have fun and don't look back at your past. You know, one important thing is that you need to find the right people who can make you move forward.
Right.
If you find the wrong people, you may find yourself stuck in the mud. Because I can say in my experience there, I encountered some people who have actually told me that, okay, I will support you, I care about you, but remember who you are, remember your place in society.
Yes.
You know, remember what society is saying about you. You get these people, they are telling you to run the lives the way they want you to run, the way society dictates you. Never, never do that. Run your own life. Wear your own lipstick, wear your own dress. You dictate your own life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Run your own
All
life
these
because
you will experience in your all these you will experience in your journey. That's why I tell you it's going to be a very rough road. But the road will get smoother eventually, but the road will still be rough. But eventually you will get there, you'll be able to maneuver your way around things, but always number one, be sure whether you want to take this journey.
That's very, very inspiring. On that note, Vanessa, I wish you the best on behalf of our team and everyone who has been listening to you. Wish you the best ahead in your journey. I do know that it's not, I can imagine and I can totally appreciate the hardships and the challenges you've been through. And in my heart, I also know that it's not an easy journey for you. Unfortunately, from my side, the best I can do is make sure that not to judge, definitely, and at the same time accept everybody as equals, because in my view there is none as an LGBT community, there is none as a gender centric. When I look at somebody, I don't look at the gender, I look at the person. And I think if the person is beautiful, it doesn't matter what is behind that body, what is behind, in terms of the physical being. We just have to accept the heart and the soul of the person, which is more important in my view.
And just one last thing,
Yes,
always develop your heart. Always develop empathy, compassion, and kindness. It is not what you wear. It is how you develop your heart, how you develop your inner beauty. If you can radiate inner beauty towards society, then society will have a better feeling to accept you.
totally.
Work from the
And I
heart.
agree.
Don't work from outer beauty. Work from inner beauty.
Well said. Well said. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for joining us today. And I'm a call away, as you always know,
Yeah.
but thank you for joining us and wish you the best ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys, that was Vanessa, the beautiful Vanessa Jacqueline de Cruz. I must say that she's totally amazing when it comes to sharing about her story, sharing about the challenges. Very candid, very honest, and extremely beautiful in terms of the thoughts and the way she wants to dedicate herself to the society and the various causes and leave a legacy. Isn't that amazing, guys? यहीं पर मैं एक बात आपको कहना चाहूंगी कि कुछ कुछ ऐसे बदलाव जो हमारी सोसाइटी में आए हैं, वेल उनमें ऑफ कोर्स कुछ नंबर्स हैं, जैसे कि आप देख रहे हैं कि कुछ देशों में रिलीजन जहां पर ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं होता, वहीं पर परसेंटेज ऑफ पीपल हु एक्सेप्ट इज मच हायर. उसके अलावा अगर आप देखें कि जहां पर लोग थोड़े ज्यादा एजुकेटेड होते हैं कंट्रीज में, उन कंट्रीज में डेफिनेटली एक्सेप्टेंस लेवल ऑफ द एलजीबीटी कम्युनिटी इज मच मच मोर. एट द सेम टाइम women, they significantly are more accepting about LGBT and the community and homosexuality in itself, and there is a lot more that goes. So when we talk about education, we talk about being a little bit more ahead on the curve, we talk about acceptance. और acceptance का मतलब ये नहीं होता कि आप दिन रात बस यही सोचते रहें कि हम किस तरह से accept करें. It just has to come naturally, right? So again, मैं अपनी promise जो मैं शुरू में कही कि मैं बिल्कुल आपका थॉट चेंज करने के मूड से नहीं हूं यहाँ पर. ये शो इज नॉट अबाउट चेंजिंग एनीबडीज व्यूज. दिस शो इज ओनली अबाउट थिंकिंग कि कौन ऐसा इंसान है जो कि कुछ अलग सोच सकता है जिंदगी में और क्या कर सकता है. इसी बात पर आई डू वांट टू टेक यू थ्रू a very important video about late Lee Kuan Yew that I would like to show you right now on Radio
Masti. To ask that question. You mentioned gay rights. Just wondering, what is your personal view on being gay? Do you think it's a lifestyle? Or?
No, it's not a lifestyle. You can read the books you want, all the articles. You know that there's a genetic difference. They're born that way, and that's that. So if two men or two women are that way, just leave them alone.
He was actually very sort of open about the answer. I don't know whether it's because he's thought about it or not, but he wasn't afraid to share his views that he believes that it is sort of genetically determined already, and so he said just so be it. If two people of the same sex want to be together. So I thought it was very refreshing to come from someone who you would think sometimes will hold a very conservative view on this issue.
Absolutely. Sometimes we think that people are going to hold a very conservative view about something, लेकिन उनको भी पता होता है कि कुछ चीजों पर हमारा कंट्रोल नहीं होता, और जब हमारा कंट्रोल उन चीजों पर नहीं होता तो फिर हम होते कौन है उसको जज करने वाले, राइट? एक बार सोचिएगा जरूर. दिस इज फ्रैंकली स्पीकिंग विद रेणुका. ऑल आई वांट यू टू थिंक इज दैट अगर सोसाइटी में कोई क्रिमिनल बनता है तो डेफिनेटली उसके कंट्रोल में होता है, एंड देयरफॉर अगर हम उसको जज करते हैं टाइम एंड अगेन कि वो क्रिमिनल बना, उसने गलत काम किए, तो शायद हम कहीं ना कहीं सही होते हैं. लेकिन अगर कोई पैदा ही एक सर्टन सिचुएशन में होता है, इफ समबडी इज बोर्न द वे ही और शी इज, देन हु आर वी टू जज? Think about that a little bit. The way we hurt our community and the people who belong to the society due to our thought process or maybe a very regressive way of thinking. Should we really do that? Is the big question today. On that note, I'll leave you with the thought, and definitely I will see you next week with yet another topic which does impact the society. And this is a very special show which is called Frankly Speaking with Renuka. And इसी में हम topics उठाएंगे वो वाले which totally matter to the society. Have a fantastic evening, guys. This is Renuka signing off from Radio Masti 24/7 and definitely from Masti AVI. Till I meet you tomorrow evening, it's a bye from me.